How's it going, everybody? All right, I have a deep dive for you today. Muscular development from January 2004. All right, and as you can see, we have Victor Martinez on the cover. The Dominican Dominator, I believe was his nickname. And yeah, man, it's been a while. I've been feeling under the weather recently. Ate something that didn't agree with me, so kind of knocked me out of commission for a while. But I'm back with this super thick issue of muscular development. I'm going to do around half of this. Otherwise, I mean, this video can end up being an hour long. I mean, look how thick it is. Man, yeah, it's a thick one. So, and of course, we have the an abundance of supplements. And of course, muscular development is known for some really hardcore supplements. A lot of a lot of this stuff I don't even know how it was legally available. I mean, I know how they work their way around the pro hormones. I think the loophole was the fact that that pro hormones are a precursor to a full blown hormone. So that's how they got around that. But some of this other stuff, I mean, like this is called D-ball, liquid anadrol. That's yeah, that's the real deal there. D-ball, tends to be short for Dianabol, and some of you know what that is. In Winnie, I haven't read this in detail, but I'm thinking that when I see Win, I think of Winstrol, which I believe is an oral anabolic. So, may have something to do with that. But this is, yeah, man, they don't play around here. All of this supplementation. Yeah, but in my opinion, nothing beats intensity, consistency, and the right attitude. I mean, and of course, I mean, you aren't going to end up competing on a stage with just that. You're going to need a lot more help than that. But and it makes me think of this older gentleman that I trained. See, the only pro hormone backed by real science. I trained this older gentleman. I train him to this day. I've been training the guy for like 7 years. He's 83 years old and really intelligent. Really intelligent. I mean, like a brilliant man. He taught mathematics on the university level at UDC, University of District of Columbia. I still don't think I said that right. University of District of Columbia. And I think he taught like trigonometry and calculus and all of these, advanced mathematical concepts. And the guy is really into science in general, loves physics and thermodynamics, and really brilliant guy. I'm just going to call him Edgar. I'm not going to say his real name because, I really respect him. And, for the record, he's a great guy, a great person. But, in the past, I've made videos where I talk about people who didn't have the mindset to work out, who just couldn't get over the mental hurdles. And boy, is he ever one of them. Now the guy, like I said, is really smart. And part of that, is just due to the way his brain works. He has a high functioning version of autism. called Asperger's syndrome. Some of you may not, some of you may have heard of that. It's autism, but very high functioning, and some people with Asperger's can be really smart, and he was raised as an intellectual, as a matter of fact, his parents didn't believe in physical activity, or at least his mother didn't. I'm not quite sure about the father, but he was taught to not participate in physical activity because they believed that it hurt you and it didn't help you. Now, of course, I mean, this guy's 83 years old. He was growing up in the 1950s, so times have changed, and we know a lot more about strength training than what we did back then. And of course, his parents couldn't have been more wrong. I mean, yeah, it can hurt you, but it also helps you. But he was raised to believe that, you should sit on your ass and read books, and there's certainly nothing wrong with reading books, educating yourself, but I think he went too far with that mindset. He just went way off the deep end with that mindset. Now, what's the guy's name? Robert Maynard Hutchins was the president of the University of Chicago. And he once said that whenever I get the urge to exercise, I lie down until that feeling goes away. And that was considered a brilliant outlook back then. Now, he didn't believe in sports. He believed in strictly academics. So that's why he said that. He was putting down physical activity. And Robert Maynard Hutchins, I mean, the quote has been attributed to him, but it's also been attributed to Mark Twain and other people as well. So I'm not 100% sure who initially said it, but it's associated with Robert Maynard Hutchins. I remember this guy. And it's as smart as he probably was. I mean, it was really an ignorant statement. It's really stupid to not participate in exercise. It is. It's not so smart. I mean, if you want to have a chance at hanging in there into your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, I mean, as I've said before in other videos, exercise is really important. Now, Edgar, my 83-year-old client, as I said, he's really into science. So, of course, he realizes that Robert Maynard Hutchins was wrong. So that's the reason why he trains with me to this day, is because he's smart enough to realize that exercise, strength training is important for aging gracefully. But I swear, man, I cannot get this guy. I mean, like I said, it's a miracle that he's even there, and I think on some level it takes balls to even try to strength train, considering the way that he was raised, to not believe in it, to never participate in physical activity. I think it takes balls and it takes a very open mind to even show up in the first place. But the intensity that we have in our workouts is just way below the bar. It's below the bar, man. I mean, I've trained little old ladies who work harder than him. Like he'll do one set of squats and then he'll sit down and he'll talk for 10 minutes. He recovers fully. He goes beyond recovery. He recovers fully. After you do a set, you're supposed to get over that momentary, what do you call it? MMF, momentary muscular failure, with rest for, anywhere from 30 to 3 minutes. I mean, depending on what you're working on, there's different reasons for different rest periods. But after momentary muscular failure, you're supposed to get back in the game. You aren't supposed to be full on recovered. I mean, to the point where you're relaxed, I mean, completely relaxed. And with Edgar, I mean, he wants to do a set, and for all intents and purposes, it's like starting all over again. We may as well start with the warm up again. He's so relaxed, and you just can't. Oh, muscle oil injections, injections. Wow. So yeah, man, it's amazing dealing with this guy because he just can't wrap his brain around physical discomfort, and furthermore, we basically do the same movements over and over and over again because he's uncomfortable with implementing new exercises, and you know how that is. I mean, when we may be accustomed to squats and bench presses or whatever exercises, certain movements, I mean, we've been doing for years and years and years. And truthfully, our nervous systems have adapted to them, but if you try a new take on an old exercise or a completely different exercise that you've never done before, and believe me, they're out here, there are a lot of exotic movements that people just don't know about, or just haven't become popular yet, so and when you try one of those new movements, your nervous system is going to kind of complain about it initially because it isn't used to it. So with Edgar, we've established, a group of exercises that his nervous system is comfortable with, and he refuses to do anything else. And I'll suggest, look, why don't we do this today instead of it? And he'll say, no, I'd rather just do, what we've been doing, and so, in some ways he makes me look bad as a trainer because he insists on doing everything below the bar. So this is just yet another example of a person who just doesn't have the mentality for strength training. And the guy is admittedly lazy. He will tell you that he's lazy. And he is, absolutely. Funny thing is, I still won't say he's the laziest person I've ever trained, but he's up there. And furthermore, he only trains once a week. And I guess that's better than doing nothing. But really, once a week, you're so fucking lazy that you can't come to the gym for more than once a week. So he's breaking down muscle tissue once a freaking week, which is just, it's like I said, it's maybe a little bit better than doing nothing. But inside of the gym, outside of the gym, wherever he is, it's so far below the bar. This guy's a trip, man. I mean, but one thing I do like is, he's been consistent for like 7 years now, even though it's only once a week, and this is a business. You have to train the people that you can get, that want to do something, but man, he could get so much more out of this if he would just learn to accept discomfort, but it's a combination of the way he was raised and just being in academia. The guy was an academic. I don't think he has he doesn't have a doctorate, but he has a master's degree in some mathematical concept. And to be honest with you, I mean, why not go for the doctorate if you're that much into academia? It may be the laziness that stopped him there. I don't know. But, brilliant guy, but he just falls short. And it's just very frustrating, because, I love training older people. And the reason is because I like seeing how their bodies respond to strength training. To see what really happens. And most of my experiences are pretty disappointing. you know, because you have to be willing to commit. You have to be willing to exert yourself and, you know, experience and deal with some discomfort, you know, and we all know that exercise is uncomfortable. You know, if it isn't uncomfortable, then you aren't overloading your skeletal muscles. Overloading your skeletal muscles is uncomfortable. You know, overloading your cardiorespiratory functionality is uncomfortable. You know, your cardiorespiratory system, it's all uncomfortable. It's just the nature of the beast, man. It's uncomfortable, you know, and I just can't get them past it. And at this point, you know, what the hell? Oxycontin, hillbilly. Oh, okay. Used to call that hillbilly heroin, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I remember that. That's dangerous stuff. Okay. Oh, glucophage. That's another name for metformin. If you guys have ever heard of metformin. But yeah, it's very, very frustrating because you know, he's not getting anywhere near what he could get out of this. And by the way, you know, as I mentioned before, I mentioned several videos ago, I said that I was going to start training a 98-year-old woman. I was wrong. She is 94, so I was off by 4 years. And I have to tell you, the older you get, the harder it is. Your nervous system doesn't adapt the same way. You know, your recovery between sets is a lot worse. Your recovery between workouts is a lot worse. You know, that those obvious increases in functional strength don't come as quickly. So officially, this lady's the oldest person that I've ever trained. She's 94. And one thing that frustrates me about Edgar is he's 83. And if he lives into his 90s, if he's fortunate enough to live into his 90s, the time to start working hard is now. Actually, it was 40 fucking years ago, 60 years ago. But when you're 83, I mean, if you want to have a life in your 90s, it's a good time to work hard, you know. So because it's not going to get any easier. Okay, at 83, it's going to get harder. Every year, it gets harder to maintain functional strength, to maintain optimum energy levels, you know, even to maintain any metabolism. It's brutally hard the older you get. So, I've warned him, because I said, look, I'm training someone 11 years older than you now, and it gets harder. And this is the time. The time is now. You know, we need to start working hard now. I told him that just the other day. He goes, yeah. And then the same pussy ass workouts, the same subpar workouts. You know, like I said, man, we're below the bar in terms of intensity. We really are. And, you know, and as I've said before, as you get older, there's always some type of ache and pain that becomes more pronounced. You know, whether it's hip flexor, your hip flexor may be bothering you, or something in your shoulder that you can't exactly pinpoint, or your glute, or your hamstring, or your knee. You know, and of course that's normal, right? But with Edgar, every little ache and pain that he feels, he backs off in terms of intensity. So you have to remember, from the beginning, we were already below the bar in terms of intensity, right? And as he experiences aches and pains, you know, maybe he comes in and his lower back has been hurting him a little bit, you know, for the past few days. What he does is he backs off even more, you know, and it's just ridiculous, you know. So as you get stronger, you should at least maintain the intensity that got you there. Now, Actually, you should increase the intensity that got you there. You know, but that's out of the question with him. He's not going to increase a motherfucking thing. He just is a lazy bastard. Okay, but can't you at least fucking maintain the intensity that we had in the beginning as you were just initially gaining strength? No, but not with him. Not only do we not maintain the intensity, but we lose intensity. So we've been constantly losing intensity as time goes on, constantly training with less intensity. So, you know, but, you know, look, the guy, he's 83, you know, he doesn't watch YouTube, you know, not using his real name. Don't want him to see this, but I will say he's a great guy. You know what I mean? He means no harm, but he's a classic example of a person who just doesn't have the mindset to strength train with proper intensity. He just doesn't have it, and there's nothing I can do about it. Not a damn thing I can do. You know, now this is someone who had the mindset to train with proper intensity. Yeah, oh, by the way, I don't know if you noticed it on the cover, but it says a special Arnold tribute page, or a page pictorial. So that's what this is. Arnold and Joe Weider here. I remember this. I think this was in Pumping Iron. I think. Yep. I never saw this before. Yeah, this was definitely in Pumping Iron. This was in the beginning. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a timeless physique. You know, it really is a timeless physique, because, you know, some of these guys, you may look at them and say, yeah, they had a good physique for that era, you know, but he still looks impressive compared to a lot of modern bodybuilders. And of course, you know, I haven't been watching bodybuilding very much recently, as I say. I think the last Mr. Olympia that I watched was the 2017 Mr. Olympia. I think that was the one when Sean Roden beat Phil Heath. Yeah. So that was the last Mr. Olympia that I watched. And that was just kind of the tail end of the as they call it, the Palumboism phase, you know, the bubble gut. I think Louis Marco used to call it the bubble gut, you know. But, you know, back then, shit, Arnold destroyed a lot of the guys, because everybody had the freaking bubble guts, you know. Those ridiculous bubble guts. Some call them GH guts, you know. So whatever, but, you know, that's gotten a little bit better. And also, I think that's pretty much why they started Classic Physique. And the other one, Men's Physique, that's the one when they're in their boxer shorts. I think it's called Men's Physique and Classic Physique. But, you know, I hate all of that shit. That's one reason why I don't watch it anymore. I just like bodybuilding, just open bodybuilding, and just pit the best physiques up against the best physiques, you know. And if you're a smaller guy, it's not inconceivable that you can beat someone bigger. It shouldn't be that way, you know. We had Frank Zane beating bigger guys, you know. Sean Ray was beating bigger guys, not in the Olympia, but in like the Iron Man and all the other shows, the Arnold Classic that he won. He was beating bigger guys, you know. Lee Labrada beat bigger guys. Mohammed Benaziza beat bigger guys. So, you know, I don't like the Classic Physique and the open bodybuilding being separate. That's the big turnoff to me personally. So let me see where we are. We're about halfway. I'm gonna go for a few more. Yeah, Victor Martinez here. By the way, don't get this confused with another video I did months ago, like 3 months ago. I did another video with Victor Martinez on the cover, but I kept screwing it up and calling him Victor Ortiz. You know, the boxer. There's a boxer named, I don't know if you guys watch boxing, but I'm a big boxing fan also. And I kept calling him Victor Ortiz. This is Victor Martinez. Yeah. And of course, meet Jimmy Razor Canyon, 2003 USA middleweight champion. Okay. Gotcha. I wonder whatever happened with him. I don't remember this guy. But anyway, you know, so some of these guys don't even go pro. You know, some of like the national champions, or maybe they'll do a pro show here and there and then disappear. You know, it does happen. So, but yeah, man, these muscular developments tend to be really thick. I remember this movement. Extreme creatine and nitric oxide fusion. I have no problem with creatine. I don't know about you guys. Creatine is cool. All it does is increase muscle cell volumization. You know, and it helps you out with your third energy system, aerobic glycosis, anaerobic glycosis, and then the creatine phosphate system. Unfreaking stoppable. So I think I may, yeah, I'm gonna stop it here. About here, this will be a good place to stop. I have half, and I'll do the other half another time. This is just about 30 minutes. So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry it's been so long, but I'm just kind of getting my faculties back. And please remember to click like if you liked it, and subscribe if you liked it. All right, share and leave a comment. And I will be back with more content on the fitness industry, personal training, and strength training in general. PLA Mind and Body Works here, and I am signing out. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.